Hello, Imaginers. It's Kyla coaching you to the career and life that you imagine. And on this episode, I want to talk about creating inevitability. I've got some inevitability that's being created right behind me today. As you can see, the water is moving more rapidly than maybe you've seen in some of my past videos. We've had some wind today, and that has created waves that are moving a bit faster. And the inevitability that is created for us means that stuff is going to start washing up on the shore. We have seen all kinds of crazy stuff wash up on the shore, including a wooden boat. Yes, that has really happened. But you can imagine that the movement that is created by the weather and then ultimately the water, there's inevitability that happens with that movement. And today I want to talk to you about how to create inevitability in the life and career that you imagined, because it is as simple as creating forward motion. Now, our brain tells us that it takes enormous progress to actually see inevitability. But what we actually know is that slow and steady does win the race. You've heard me talk so much in the past about my health journey, and the way that I've created progress is by taking one small step. I literally started by doing one push-up. Back, if you saw a video I did a couple years ago, it was how I got back on my ballet point shoes, was just taking one step at a time. And in my case, I started with one push-up, and then eventually I was able to do ballet bar classes several times a week and get back on my point shoes. And that health journey has continued to create inevitability in my life. Most recently, I've been working on healthy eating, and it's been so interesting. I've been in a multi-month program working with a health coach, and my brain tries to tell me that it just clicked over one day. It tried to tell me that a couple weeks ago, actually, that somehow magically all of the stuff we've been working on was actually working. But the reality is that it took the months that I was working on it, that slowly new habits were being created. And what's interesting is, even though the traditional measures of health haven't moved that substantially, in my brain, it's already done. I am actually already living in my future self, and I can tell that it's already done. And the way that we create that inevitability is by taking one small step and then taking another small step. We think that we have to take massive steps to create the outcome that we're looking for. But in actuality, it's always small steps. And now that I have new habits in place, I have been working on coaching my brain and understanding why I was making some of the health decisions that I was in the past. Now I've created new patterns in my brain, new patterns in my habits that will make my goal inevitable. So in the sales world, you may have heard a term called lead versus lag measures. And this is the same way that I see creating outcomes that are truly inevitable. So in the sales world, they call lead measures things like finding a new prospect, following up with them, staying in touch. And eventually, over time, that will produce what they call a lag measure, which is ultimately that person buys whatever you're selling. But in reality, the lag, the buying, doesn't come until the lead measures are in place. So for me, in my health journey, for example, I had to uncover again why I was making some of the health decisions that I was. Where was it coming from in my past? What habits were in place that were not contributing to my health goals? And then most importantly to me, what I was thinking, because I believe that it is your thoughts that creates your feelings and ultimately the actions you take, and then in the end, your outcome. Again, those lag measures. But the lead measures are the ones that truly make your goal inevitable. And if I could tell you that your goal was inevitable, wouldn't it be easier to take a small step? I promise you that making it inevitable begins with a slow, small step. That is literally all that it takes. And I am a living example of that in so many areas of my life. And so many of my clients have experienced the same thing by focusing on those lead measures, making that goal inevitable, and then all of a sudden, which of course it's not all of a sudden, but it feels like it's all of a sudden, then all of it comes together and creates again what we call those lag measures, which lag behind the action that we took, lag behind the decisions that we made. That's why they're called lag measures, because they're as good as done, but we don't have to focus on what it takes to get it done. We simply have to focus on what will create some forward motion, what might be standing in your way, what's maybe a thought that is standing in your way, what is a habit that's standing in your way. And we start to, I call it, kind of peel back the layers and look inside as to what is actually creating the barrier. And then again, in small steps, we start to move toward a step, a lead measure that will move you in the right direction. And that is literally how I've created the life that I imagined. It is an ongoing journey, of course. My health is the latest that I am tackling, but certainly my career was the first one that I went after, and I am truly living the life that I imagine, and that's what I want for you. Please check out my website for some resources if you would like to take a small step to the life that you imagined, the career that you imagined. And in the meantime, you know I am cheering you on to the life and career that you imagine. Take care, everyone.